What's up, guys? Okay, so right now we're gonna pretty much go over the Triple G versus Canelo fight, their second meeting here in September. But if you guys actually want to see a breakdown of the first fight, a play-by-play that happened in the first match, go over to our website. In our website we have Canelo versus Triple G1, so we have that full breakdown there if you guys want. Cutting off the ring could also probably help him to find the target to land the right hand. Triple G missed a lot of right hands, and all Canelo really did was roll his head with the right hand itself and keep moving left or Triple G's right. For the most part, Canelo always exited that way. It looks simple since Canelo's moving towards that right hand, but Canelo is a slick boxer, and if he does make Triple G miss that right hand, it forces Triple G to reset to be able to land punches on Canelo again. Abel Sanchez did see Canelo moving left and gives Triple G advice. Abel tells Triple G to throw more of a looping right hand.
When he's moving away into your right hand, when he's moving into the right hand, you gotta throw it this way. Don't throw it straight on me. Throw it like a hook, a long hook, okay? Because he's moving into it, alright?
I'm probably gonna leave, the link to that video. That's gonna be the first link in the description box. If not, I'm actually gonna leave it in the comment section. In the comment section, I'm actually gonna pin the link to that. So go check that video out. There you guys see the breakdown of the first fight. So go check that out if you guys actually want to see the whole play-by-play and not hear us talk about the fight, but actually see like the fight in motion.
Alright guys, so today we're gonna break down a highly anticipated fight, and Triple G and Canelo. The rematch takes place next week.
Yeah, okay, so first of all we have Triple G. Triple G in the first matchup, as you guys saw, he was pretty much the one that was pushing the action. He was there with his constant pressure. He was there throwing jab after jab after jab from round one all the way to the end. So Triple G's constant pressure is a very important factor in this fight. He actually is probably gonna have to force the fight again. I don't really think that Canelo's actually gonna, make too much of an adjustment to his game plan. So I think that Canelo, for the most part, is actually gonna try to, not engage so much with Triple G. Maybe he'll engage a little bit more because he wants to seal the victory. He's gonna have to force the action. I don't really think Canelo's gonna change his game plan too much. So I think that's a very important thing that Triple G is probably going to have to do this second time around as well.
Canelo is going to have to not try to knock him out in the very first round. He has to use his energy more efficiently, as Connor said, because Triple G is the bigger fighter. Also, like he was saying, that Triple G should apply the pressure. Canelo should chop down at the body to reduce that pressure, and similar how he did to the Amir Khan. Triple G is older and slower, but still applies a lot of pressure.
Another thing that Triple G has to actually worry about this time around too is the counterpunching. Though Canelo didn't really push the action forward, he was a very good counterpuncher that night. Canelo was forced to be the counterpuncher that night, and he was pretty efficient with it. He actually landed a couple of big shots on Triple G. So Triple G has to kind of keep that in mind. Another thing Triple G has to do is actually find a home for that right hand. Although he did throw the right hand here and there, he missed a lot of his right hand. A lot of those big shots actually missed. Canelo either pretty much got off the ropes and made that whole right hand miss completely, or he would actually roll his head with that right hand. Or Triple G needs to find a home for his big power punches, especially because of the fact that he's known to be a monster, known to throw these power shots that actually hurt his opposition and knock out most of them. So another thing Triple G has to do is probably start wearing down Canelo right from the get-go, start wearing off Canelo from the early rounds, and be able to implement his own game plan into the fight itself.
Canelo, again, has to do something similar. Like he was saying, create investment, go to the body. The chances of Canelo knocking out Triple G are slim because, like I said, he's a bigger fighter. So he has to fight more as a points fighting style because of that fact that he's smaller and Triple G has a good chin. And even though he's getting older, I still believe his chin has held up. So he has to fight more. If he can't beat him by knocking him out, he can at least beat him on the scorecard. Barely beat him on points if he can win all 12 rounds on the scorecard. Because historically Las Vegas and Golden Boys kind of can't really trust him.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so talking about the scorecard, although that scorecard was outrageous in favor of Canelo, I think people were pretty much more mad at the scorecard itself than the actual draw. I think if the scorecard probably would have been something a little bit more even, I think everybody would have been pretty okay with the draw, because it's kind of arguable on both sides on which, depending on the way you judge it, what you really look for in the fight itself. You guys could give, certain rounds to one fighter or to another fighter. So some of these rounds were actually quite close. I think if Bird's scorecard probably would have been a little bit more, I guess, if it would have been towards Canelo, but if it would have been a more, I guess, more even scorecard, I think that would have been something that people wouldn't really complain too much about, because sometimes some rounds were kind of like, who do I score it for? So yeah, I think that's something that I like to keep in mind, because sometimes people say Canelo won because he knew how to control the ring, he made Triple G move a lot, and You know, there's other points in there. He made him move a lot, made him miss a lot. Used his waist movement and countered effectively. He had the bigger shots. People argue for Triple G. Triple G, you know, he put on the pressure, threw that jab. He landed some of the jabs. You know, I think in total he actually landed more punches than Canelo overall, as you know, punch stats. It goes back to like what exactly do you see as a referee or you as a judge at home, right? So I think if that scorecard probably would have been a little bit more even, people wouldn't really complain too much about the draw.
More adjustments, or some adjustments that Canelo can do is be consistent throughout the rounds. We saw in the first fight that he would throw a few punches and then he'll cover up because he's gassed out. He'll cover up on the rope and let Triple G tee off on him. It's something he can do. Like I said earlier, he has to even out his punches and his cardio throughout the 12 rounds if it goes that long. So continuing on that consistency route, he has to be more aggressive and actually land the punches that he's throwing. Don't let Triple G get comfortable by just covering up on the rope. You have to counterpunch his punches and be aggressive. It's a combination of both, being aggressive and also counterpunching when Triple G fights. You get to fight, obviously Triple G is going to throw some. You can't always be aggressive. So you have to have a good combo of both.
Canelo has to be a little bit more, I guess, aggressive in certain exchanges because of the fact that sometimes he would throw, you know, these big combinations, and although they did look pretty and some punches did land that were actually pretty hard, those punches would pretty much take a toll on his body, and then Triple G would actually take over that round with consistent pressure. Some of those rounds were actually the difficult ones to score because of the fact that, you know, Canelo comes out strong. He lands, you know, these big combinations. He lands, you know, half of those big shots in those combinations, and then he gasses out, and then Triple G takes over. So some of those rounds, like, who do you know, score that to the guy that's actually putting on the pressure, or to the guy that threw, you know, those hard combinations, those shots where everybody in the arena, you know, pretty much screams after he throws and, you know, either lands or misses those big shots. So that kind of influences the judges as well. So, you know, who do you score it for? So there's rounds like that. And Canelo still has to keep his head and waist movements still, you know, on point because of the fact that, first of all, he doesn't really want to get tagged by a big Triple G bomb. Although he does have a good chin, you know, the body could only take so much. You could only take so many punches, and especially, you know, let's say he just stays there and gets tagged with a punch he doesn't see. Those are the punches that knock you out. So Canelo has to keep his head and waist movement on point that night again. And some adjustments that Triple G can make, there's a few that he can make for this second bout. I think one of the first things that he has to do is actually take a risk this time around. I honestly don't think that in Vegas they're actually going to give you know, I guess the favorable scorecards. In my honest opinion, if the fight is close, I think that the fight will probably go to Canelo. So I think Triple G has to take that risk and probably have to look for a knockout. Another adjustment that Triple G has to do is actually what he's known for, which is cutting off the ring. He has to be able to cut off the ring against Canelo. He has to be able to close in that distance, actually, you know, take control of the fight and close down Canelo and be able to land, you know, some big power shots. I think that's probably one of the most important things that Triple G has to do. He has to pretty much make that ring as small as he possibly can. He has to be able to cut off that ring, make it as small as he possibly can, kind of close down Canelo. Don't give him angles in which, you know, he can get the better of him. Close down that ring, make it as small as he possibly can, make it uncomfortable for Canelo, and land, you know, big power shots. I think that he has to also create, you know, angles on Canelo. A lot of the times I pretty much saw him walk straight forward, and, you know, walking straight forward, especially against Canelo, who's, you know, very slick, has head and waist movement, which could, you know, put Triple G in positions in which, you know, he's easily counter-striked, or where Canelo lands big punches of his own. So I think that one of the things that Triple G has to do is actually create new angles, not just go straight forward. Triple G has to get more creative with his combinations. He has to, you know, throw more than that simple 1-2. That 1-2 didn't really do a whole lot of damage on Canelo. There's only a couple crosses that actually landed on Canelo that didn't really faze Canelo too much. Although they were hard shots, I think Triple G has to get more creative with his power punches. I think another thing that Triple G has to do is actually go to the body. Triple G has to be able to land to the body against Canelo. He has to be able to slow Canelo down a little bit. One of the things Triple G has to do right from round one is actually go to the body, because I don't think Canelo's actually going to make too big of an adjustment for the second bout. I think that he's not really going to try to engage with Triple G, regardless of what he says, that he's going to stay there and engage with Triple G and look for a knockout. I think Canelo's a pretty smart boxer, and I don't think that he's going to stand there and brawl with Triple G. He's going to box with Triple G, so one of the best things Triple G could do is right from round one, try to attack the body. In the first fight, Triple G probably hit the body maybe 4 or 6 times if I'm not mistaken. I know that the body punches were in the single digits, so I think that Triple G can go head hunting and actually try to break down Canelo right from the early on, or from the early rounds. So pretty much that'll be our final thoughts on this fight. I hope come this September 15, I hope that at least, you know, the fight is exciting, because although I am kind of hoping for a knockout, I doubt it will happen. Both of these guys have a pretty good chin. So hopefully, you know, the fans get a good show come September 15th.